hauntings, cryptids, the unknown. Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe Radio.
You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe. The views and opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the network, or our sponsors.
Yay! Well, welcome everyone to Mystic Moon Cafe. We are going to have a very, very fun show tonight. And if we aren't, then I'm leaving early.
Blame Ross. He's that way on my screen. That way on my screen.
Wow.
What?
I will
I'm
leave early,
pure
I promise.
innocence, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
And it begins.
Mm-hmm.
Ross always blames me, so you know.
That's why you're VP.
Reminds me of that movie Knives Out.
Oh yes, that was a good movie.
Yes,
And
it was.
as we've seen over the past week, just blame the vice president.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
this
scary
is
to go
not a
outside
political
now.
show, but
What? What? You can just take it that in whatever context you need to take it in. I'm
love
just
it.
saying.
oh my gosh. Well,
That would
I'm
be
not
June.
worried
She's-
about it. I'll
she's
take
here in
the
my-
heat. Yeah.
She's here in my Brady Bunch square, so I
Email
point
Jake
down to-
at Mr. Moon Cafe.
Chanting,
Jake.
hang June, I might have to worry.
no, you do. Yes, you might. So how is everybody tonight? Why don't we go around the squares?
On edge. I think we're all on edge.
Yeah, we had a horrible windstorm actually last night out
so did
here.
we.
Woo,
Oh yeah, everyone on the West Coast did.
it was
Wow.
terrible.
Our
Knocked
We're
my
power,
supposed to
patio
hit us
furniture.
about 3, Michael.
yeah, our power flickered a
Not
couple
more.
times, but otherwise I survived.
Oh,
You
But
got
otherwise,
snow.
I'm going to say I'm good. I've just been working on my next book. So that's all I've been doing, sitting at home working on the book. What more can you do?
Yeah.
Which book is
Cool.
that, Ross?
Me and Dave Weatherly are putting out Haunted Prisons.
Ooh.
we
Yeah.
love it when Ross puts out.
Books.
You just have to ask nicely and offer jewelry, okay?
or say just $20. Give me $20. I'll give you the best
Hey,
book
no,
you
no,
ever had.
I'm worth more than $20 here. You know,
I
Plus
do have the
import
earrings
fee.
he gave
I
me.
have skills, okay?
I am wearing the earrings that Ross gave me anyway, by the way, so you can't see him very
Oh.
well.
You obviously need a business
So, Jill-
manager, Ross. I'll
Jill, are
do
you
that for
saying
you.
If I put out, I have to give you jewelry.
Yes, that's true. Whoever you put out with,
Ross.
I get jewelry.
I got a nice ring.
You should see my collection. Oh my gosh. How did we get so off track so quickly?
Oh my god!
And we're not even drinking, but give me a minute.
Yeah, everyone pause. Run for the bottles.
The 7-Up will quickly change to Sauvignon Blanc in all of 2 sips.
So what about you, Jake? How are you doing? I know you've been working like crazy.
Yes, it is the busy time of year at work. You know, COVID keeps me busy.
Yeah.
However, I'm doing search engine stuff.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, but other than that, fine and dandy. We had the storm last night down here too. You might have heard it on the West Coast, but we were actually fine. Usually where I live, we're the ones that get blasted by the stream.
I was
jet
worried about
stream.
your fence.
Yeah, but no, everything was fine. The lights flickered once, and that was about it.
Nice.
And let's go to Canada.
Welcome. You're all welcome.
Yeah, I wish we could get in. We keep
We
knocking
stink-
at the door, but they won't let us in.
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
sneak
There
me
in a
over the-
bedroom.
Mm.
No,
Do they have something like coyotes in Canada? You know, the folks that help people come over from Mexico to the States. Do they have something like a beaver
have
that will
tunnels?
get me over? Something like that.
Timberwolves. Yeah.
talk about
Timberwolves.
sidetracking, okay? So I'll give you a sidetrack story.
Okay.
Where I patrol my area, I work in a city called Surrey. In my area, I border on the United States, like my patrol area. And I'm often on Zero Avenue. There is no wall. There is no gate. There is nothing.
Oh,
Mm.
I will watch deer go back and forth. They don't have passports. And
Dress up
I
as
got
a
it.
deer then.
I know. I got a call a couple weeks ago. It's funny you mentioned coyotes, and it was Border Services saying that they have so many sensors everywhere that you don't see, and there was a dog going back and forth by one of their sensors. So I don't know if coyotes would fly in Canada.
how interesting.
Yeah, but I've been all right. I've been busy with work. COVID keeps my job very busy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of tickets being issued to people that don't comply and all that fun stuff.
Oh, man.
We've been
Wow.
busy paranormal wise. We've been busy. We have about 9 really big investigations for 2021 that kind of just fell in my lap. So I took them.
Cool.
Swore Ross to secrecy about 3 of them that he's not allowed to say them.
Oh, I'm publishing those right now.
I heard that.
Check out his Twitter.
Yeah, his Twitter account.
But yeah, no, it's doing well. I'm excited for the year. Hopefully everything goes smooth in the world in the next month or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the next couple of months we're going to start seeing those numbers decline and everything. So, but yeah, I've been the same way. I've been inputting all of the vaccination information for a lot of people who have gotten the vaccinations. We have to input their information, but I hear they're going to start finding an automated system. Yes. I'm so excited about little things anymore.
That would be the little microchip that goes in with the virus.
Yes.
He said it was right.
Damn it.
I'm, totally fine with the
Damn you, Bill
microchip.
Gates. Yeah.
With the microchip in my system, but actually I think Amazon probably finds me a lot faster than anybody, since I have everything automated to Amazon now. So I hate to
The
say
thing
it.
that sucks is the chip that
I'm
they
one
put
of
in your body is not going to tell you all the porn you go to through your phone.
Yeah. Good point. That is a good point.
But Alexa and Siri get to talking sometimes,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
they
sure.
do.
And
Well, I mean, Pornhub's hosted in the cloud, so.
well,
So I do have to ask, June, you get your second shot soon, don't you?
yeah, on the 26th.
26.
Then they say a week after that second shot, you are 95% immune, and that's actually better than 60% of the flu shot.
Mhm.
So, I'm taking my chances. I'm kind of a high risk category. So,
And with your
Yeah.
luck, you'll get that 5%.
would you stop it?
I would.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. It will be nice to hug people again. I'm not much of a hugger, but I'm looking forward to hugging people
I miss
again.
people. I do. I do miss
I do
people.
too. It's been a lonely
I miss
year. It's been weird.
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
haven't
really
been
miss
to
traveling.
It's bad when you go into your own house and you go to put your mask on as a habit now.
Yes.
I've done it.
Yes.
So what about you, Michael? What about you?
Well, I've just been getting ready for this college semester to come up. I got about 2 years, a year and a half roughly till I have my bachelor's degree. So
Awesome.
working on that, going into construction management field, and been focusing mostly on school lately. But I do have 2 investigations coming up. One at the Carlson Hotel in Wisconsin. That's some people have captured some shadow figures of Mr. Carlson walking down the halls and stuff. And I'll try to see if I can pull those up tonight. And I'm going to the Baraboo Inn, which is another brothel that was owned by Al Capone. We have that coming up. And that's kind of it. Staying, I guess, here because we can't really go. I want to go to Chicago, but we can't right now because they have shut down the border. And they've been really being strict around that area, around the bridges. If you drive into Chicago,
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of them, you'll be quarantined for 2 weeks. And,
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's why I can't go to Oregon right now because of work. Basically we can't go to any other state.
Yeah.
So
that's
I'm landlocked to Washington.
yeah.
I saw on the news that our mayor was opening up the restaurants and easing back the restrictions now. So avoid Kansas City at all costs.
I guess I've been doing that anyway, haven't I?
Isn't the Telly house is near you, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's what are you thinking? An
About
hour and a half?
45 minutes away.
Oh, well, when I drive, I guess. I drive
Yeah,
slower.
when June drives.
It's always good to slow down through Weston.
I've been on that adventure many times when June drives.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
No, Weston is a cool place. I would love, there's some places there I would love to investigate. Weston, Missouri. And they have the best winery there. It's called Pirtles, I think, winery. And they have the best mead. Oh my gosh.
Mead.
It's like Kool-Aid. Just drink it down.
Good.
Really good. I might order some bottles, actually.
June, everything's Kool-Aid to you.
Yeah. It's very a lot of Kool-Aid. But yeah, Weston is another really cool place. There's a lot of really good places in around that area.
There really are. A lot of history, a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Civil War stuff, a lot of Civil War stuff. But yeah, Mike, you need to both
road
Michaels,
trip.
Mike, you guys need to come down to. We'll meet you in the middle of the country.
That'd be
Do
cool.
the Sally House, some
Yeah.
of the other places, and
But
of
we
course
did that before.
the Villisca Axe Murder House.
We've said that before, haven't we?
Well, I was going to say, we've done that before. We met everybody in Chicago.
Well, you didn't meet at the Sally House or the
No.
Villisca Axe Murder House.
We were
I wanna
doing
go
that.
to
That's
those
not exactly the
places.
Chicago metro area.
So yeah, it's pretty cool down there. Yeah, Ross didn't get to do those, did he?
No, he didn't. Oh.
No, poor Ross and Jake. They
Got
didn't get to
left
do
out.
All right.
Oh man, that was fun though.
Next time I go to an amazing place, I'm going to throw that in your face, too.
No, because I'm always with you. Just
Maybe
try
I'll
to
go
get
somewhere
rid
and
of
I won't tell you, and I'll be like doing a live feed, and I'll say, Neener, 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 June.
it. Then I'll be right behind you and go, yeah. Yeah.
Bunny ears behind.
Yeah. Oh my God. We keep derailing, don't we?
Yeah.
I don't know that we actually had a plan, but
No, we really didn't have a plan. This is just going to be kind of a fun conversation night, talking
Yes.
about
Yes.
you know, different
Mhm.
places we love. And
Everybody gets to be part of the IT crowd right now.
That's right. That's right.
yes, exactly. So, you know, like I said, not too much of a plan tonight. Just kind of conversations about ghosts. Or
Well,
non-ghosts.
you know, unfortunately, a lot of people haven't been able to do a lot. But then I hear from, you know, Michael and Mike, and they're like, "Oh, we got this investigation going on. We got this investigation going on." June, how come they got investigations and we don't?
Yeah, I know. We will. Now we got some. We've been actually getting quite a few residential
Yeah, we have.
ones that have been contacting us.
Well, there's been a lot of people contacting us about stuff going on in their homes.
A lot of ones we really probably. I'm going to say they. Some of them don't want an investigation. Some of them just want somebody to come in and do an exorcism, or cast out
We got
the
Wendy
demons.
for that, right?
Yeah. Cast out the demons and their cats. Or their ghost goldfish that's haunting the place.
Mhm.
We didn't get another one.
I'm not too
but we
worried
did
about
get,
a goldfish.
yeah, Ross, tell that story. We actually did get a call for
Yeah, somebody just like called me up and says, "I think my goldfish Bubbles is haunting my place."
Oh my God.
I'm like, what?
Oh man.
That's
he thought it was a joke.
I think it's a demon.
It had to have been a joke. There was that one guy that kept calling and saying he wakes up with his dirty underwear on his face.
Definitely a
yeah,
demon.
it's like, what do I
Definitely a demon.
do? What do I do? Sometimes it's
Succubus.
shoved in my mouth. You know, I'm like, what?
Uh,
You know, and I try to be professional, but I just know this is just a bunch of crap. You know.
well, it's like the
Literally
guy.
and figuratively. Mhm.
Yes. Well, it's like the guy I got the phone call about, and you know, I mean, he seemed like a really nice, legitimate guy when all of a sudden he started talking about the vampires in his apartment building that were hiding in people's closets. And not only were they vampires, but he saw one of the vampires sucking the blood out of the ghost that inhabited his apartment. And that they both ran into this closet, and he took the doorknob off the closet and it trapped them in there because I guess they don't know how to get out of a closet since they're trapped in there. And so I'm trying to be like really nice because I'm thinking this guy
might be unbalanced.
Yes, I mean he was really sweet, really nice, and he seemed really sincere. And so, I just told him, I said, how are you sure that the vampire was sucking on the ghost? Because how could that happen since they don't have any blood? I'm trying to be nice.
It's an ectoplasm
I
vampire.
wait you find on the internet.
But he was very sincere. And of course, when I tell Ross about it, he goes, "Oh, I bet you were totally punked. You're probably on some radio show." Just laughing at you. And I'm like, oh, man, that could be totally true. And I wouldn't know, but I was very nice anyway. I didn't fall for it, but I didn't.
The problem is, sometimes you do get those, crackpots that just want to, have a giggle, making up stories when they call you and see how serious you take them. But then, you also have to be careful too, because you do have people that just have mental issues and can convince themselves of these, delusions of hauntings that just aren't true, and that's a slippery slope that you have to be careful not to go down, because you want to treat everybody with respect and you try to be very professional when you get these calls. And sometimes it's hard to know what kind of person you're actually dealing with.
Well, it's like the woman that she was very sweet when she first started talking to me and said, well, I have a ghost problem. I would really love to have you guys out to my house. And I was like, okay. I said, well, tell me a little bit about it. And she said, well, a couple of years ago, I killed my neighbor's cat. That's how she started. And I was like, oh, why? Why did you do that? And she said, well, the cat wouldn't leave, she kept peeing in my garden and wouldn't leave things alone. I was like, yeah, well, that's really not a reason to kill anybody's cat. And she says, well, after that happened, the ghost of Jesus keeps coming into my house every night with a silver spear and trying to stab me. She goes, I haven't been able to get any sleep because I'm avoiding this spear that's trying to stab me. She's just going on and on. And I said, well, maybe it might be part of your guilt. Do you have a priest or a minister you can talk to? She's like, well, I don't want to bring this up to him. He may think I'm crazy. Yeah, maybe. But I think you really should bring it up to him him or her, because you really might need to talk to that, because you might have a guilt complex about killing your neighbor's cat and anybody else you've killed. That's just the start of it, honey. I didn't say that, but
honey. Yep.
Honey, you're killing a cat, an animal. Next thing you know, it's going to be the neighbor's toddler that's screaming too loud, and graduate from that.
You got to work your way up, June. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a steps of homicide. Come on.
What are you saying, Mike?
Do you guys have a questionnaire you make people fill out before investigating?
Oh, yes.
And how extensive is it?
Well, I think it's like only 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah, it's about 2 or 3 pages, but Ross has some really good questions on there because they're asked and then they're asked a different way. And just to kind of see, what the answers are, and
you want to make sure that they're not changing their stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you're
they don't ask about animal murder.
Yeah.
So. But you don't want it to come off as like homework either. We're not expecting novels.
Like some groups have like 18, 20 pages.
20 pages they hand them, and it's just like, that is too much work. If you want that, and it's great to have that information, then you sit down and you do it with them. But if you just want to get the initial part of the investigation started, just kind of hit the important questions that you want to ask, because you want to find out if their stories seem credible. Because you don't want to waste your time. I know groups that'll just go in once they get the phone call, I think I have a ghost. They're immediately running out to these people's houses and doing investigations. And I've been in situations where people have invited me to help them on an investigation. And it's like, did you not do a walkthrough? Did you not do an interview with this person? Yeah. This person is freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Why are we wasting our time? I remember being invited on an investigation, and we get to the guy's house. And immediately right when we walked into the house, he latches the door and has like 6 different bolt locks on the door, and immediately you can see a machete underneath the couch. There's blood in the sink, and it's just
he was a hunter.
That's what he claims, but it's still,
Right.
it's kind of frightening.
Yeah. Especially when he locks 6 locks.
Right.
Yeah. And you're just like, Mr. Voorhees, I have to get the batteries for my EMF meter out of my car.
I'll be right
And that's
back.
exactly what we did.
Words.
You could see the shotguns in the corner of the room, and it's just like, I was like, immediately, it's like,
No.
Did anybody look into this case? No. It's like, I don't feel comfortable being in this house.
Yeah.
And so she immediately made an excuse. Oh, we forgot something in our car, and we left.
Well,
I had one
that's
like that too, where he locked. I got locked in the house.
oh,
And
you
the
got locked in
guy-
the house?
Yeah, like he was in there too with us. He was kind of similar situation, probably what you were saying, kind of sketchy in a way, where your senses go off. Like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And all of the rooms in his house had a padlock and like doors that didn't even have handles. They just had you put the key in, and that's how you open it.
It's like you entered an escape room, you got to
escape.
figure out the puzzle to get out, or you die.
It takes
Literally.
the lotion and rubs it on its skin.
Elsie gets the hose again.
Whatever gets me out.
And that's what we've always expressed to people. It's not the dead you have to be afraid of; it's the living.
Well, that's the scary part too, because a lot of times you can talk to them on the phone and they sound very level-headed, and it's like, okay, this sounds okay.
Reasonable, everything.
And this is why we do a walkthrough first before we bring out, a whole team. We'll take, 2 or 3 people out and, ask the questions, take pictures, do basic EMF readings, carbon monoxide readings, temperature readings, and what else? What are the other readings? It's like,
Well, you're basically,
Psychotic readings.
yes. And then you meet them,
and
and
then you get a blood sample, lock of their hair.
Yes.
You ask for their firstborn. Then we put them in cages because that's what we do.
it's like, and I hear some of these people, they'll go to a house alone by themselves, and it's like, you never should do that.
Never go.
We've been
alone.
in some situations where we had one walkthrough where the whole house, for some reason, they brought all their farm machinery inside the house, and they had a commune in the back.
Oh boy.
That's when I was with Philemon that one time. Philemon just about freaked out. And when this guy Philemon freaks out, you're in a bad situation. But yeah, it was, and they sounded very normal, on the phone, but you get in there and it's like, oh, this is not a good situation around here. So
that's why I feel it's really important to do, somewhat of a standard interview over the phone. I've even, now with COVID, we now, make sure that they send us photos of their property so we know where we're going, what the property looks like. Even video clips, have them walk around with their, camera, do a video and send it to you just so you.
And we always use the excuse of just, show us some of the hot spots and things like that. Not just show us your environment that, I'm going to walk in and you have, extremely unclean everything, everywhere. And it's like, I'm not going to bring my team into a situation like that. First of all, with, if we do wear masks and we're, try to stay as far apart from each other as possible, but, you're walking into this person's environment and you just, I think it might be rude if I brought in a big can of Lysol and started spraying everything down with Lysol wipes. And
just cover the can with the label that says holy water.
Holy spray and holy water. We're going to just do a
holy
little...
spritz.
little spritz here and there. Some holy,
Little
things.
demon
It
be
smells
going
like
on.
Lysol, but it's really holy water. Come on.
Yeah.
It's straight out of that well in Lourdes. It's the
Yeah.
strongest shit available.
Real stuff.
It smells like linen. Was it linen Lysol?
Lavender.
Of course, you can hear the ghost screaming, "It burns! It burns!"
Sorry, ghosts. But, I don't want to be a ghost soon.
I'm
so
melting.
I'd like to stay alive as long as possible.
Have you guys ever been in any dangerous situations where people have become super confrontational or possessed?
Not
Never.
that.
Never possessed.
But
We met Ross and I met a crazy lady in Chattanooga. That was a robot lady. Remember that? The cyborg lady in Chattanooga.
What's that?
No,
I don't remember that one.
she was a T800, T1000. Which,
Yeah, it was
Are you
ridiculous.
confusing this with a sexual fantasy you have?
I'm not even joking, Ross. This is you. This is you. I swear. So we took this tour in Chattanooga, Tennessee with this lady. And, she was a good tour guide for the most part. But it was when she told us she had a robotic jaw because the ghost picked her car up with her in it and threw her in her whole car. Remember hearing that?
That's right. That's right.
this is like some 13 ghost shit.
Oh, yeah. This is cyborg lady
The
from Chattanooga,
juggernaut's
Tennessee.
running around in there too.
Yeah.
Again.
No, I'd have to say, when it comes to dangerous situations, most of the danger has been the environment itself, unsafe environments. I've had some pretty scary encounters, but that's, when it comes to dealing with the dead. I think we've been pretty good at filtering through our clients to making sure we don't put ourselves in danger. I've been a guest, as I was saying, where I've been invited to help on an investigation through another team. And then, of course, you walk into that guy's house and he locks the doors and he's got machetes and weapons all over the place and blood everywhere. I think that for me is probably one of the more scarier situations. Possession, I probably have dealt with a couple cases where it could possibly be possession. I think it's a situation where you're dealing with a psychological breakdown, and some people may believe that they are possessed. But otherwise, for me, I'd have to say I've been pretty lucky in filtering what I've been able to pursue in this field.
Here in friendly Canada, had a handgun pulled on me.
Oh.
He thought we were trespassing. It was an area way in the mountains on the way to you and Ross went to Barkerville. You take a right turn somewhere on the highway and you go into the mountains. And there's an old abandoned town there, but there's still active silver mines everywhere. So the team I was with at the time, we went into the abandoned mine area. And then this guy comes up and he flashes like an old silver revolver. Was it real? Probably. But up there are no rules. It's kind of wild country. And
That's scary.
that made me rethink of how we should deploy ourselves when we're going on investigations like that. But it was an omen.
Definitely.
Because so we see this guy and we're like, whatever, go. I was the one that talked to him because the other people were kind of amplified. And so whatever, he goes away. I'm like, dude, just go, or go, son. We don't care about your mind. And then one of our team members, he brought out his FLIR. You guys call it a FLIR or a FLIR in America?
We just say FLIR.
FLIR?
Say FLIR. Say FLIR.
I think we're all different.
FLIR.
FLIR.
And going through the old Pioneer Cemetery was a grizzly, like a mama grizzly and two cubs. And we're like, okay, that means we leave.
Yeah.
You don't mess with that.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, I got a story similar to yours. I went to go check out, and this wasn't even ghosting, it was just to go see the Evil Dead Cabin, the 1980 film. It was filmed in Tennessee, and my little brother and I used to go there all the time, go see where the cabin was. They tore it
I didn't know
down
it was a real cabin. I just thought it was a set.
Yeah, it's an actual cabin in Tennessee, and it's in Townsend, Tennessee, and I have the address, but I wouldn't go there because before when it was a cabin, it was a bunch of squatters going in there, like living in the cabin and stuff and trashing it up.
Should be a museum.
I know, that's what I was thinking, but they tore it down because of squatters. But my little brother and I went there to go get a picture of the chimney. That's the only remaining thing left of the original cabin in the film. And there's a hole in the ground where they buried the what's that girl that gets possessed and they cut her head off and they bury her. You can see the hole in the ground from where
Is
the
that still down there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Well, I mean, is she still down there?
Oh no, I checked. I already looked.
She gets up and does her ballet thing without the head.
Dead by done.
Yeah.
Little brother and I were standing there, and I hear bang, bang, bang from a shotgun. 3 shots were fired at us, and the owner of the land will shoot you for walking out there.
Huh.
And we ended up hightailing it out. We didn't see any signs, nothing. I mean, I know my little brother does whatever he does. I mean, if there's a sign for me, I'm going the other way because I'm like, I'm not going to trespass. But yeah,
Well,
we heard.
I was gonna say that's one of the biggest problems we have in this field now is there's a lot of groups that do trespass.
Yeah.
That do break into these abandoned buildings, just for the thrill of the ghost hunt, and I think that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to stop some guy that he wasn't a part of our group, but we met another group out at Stanwood, and I don't think you were with us, Ross. Actually.
No, I was. I remember this story.
And he, all of a sudden, we had an investigation at the building across the street.
It wasn't our investigation. It was your old group's investigation.
Yeah, it was my old group's investigation. And he, was telling about some of the ghost stories in the building across the street, but the owner all of a sudden decided he didn't want to know about the ghost stories and didn't want us to tell us or show him the EVPs that we caught. So he didn't want to hear anything. He didn't want to know anything. He changed his mind. He's like, screw it. No, I don't want to hear anything. And this one guy that was in another group, he decided he was going to try to get into that building, and we caught him. I don't think he had a tire or he had a tire thing. He was trying to pry the window open or the door open. Man, we put a stop to that really quick. Then made him leave. He was really
the door
mad.
was locked though. Unlike when we went that one place.
Which one? Oh, at the Belvoir Winery.
Yeah.
Hey, there were no signs up anywhere
None
when we went
whatsoever.
that time. There really was.
The window was open. Yeah.
It was very inviting.
And we weren't the only people in there either.
Exactly.
No, there were a lot of people around. And what the funny part with that story is Ross was trying to convince me. There was a really big window.
It was peer pressure. I'm sorry, June.
He was convincing me to climb through the window.
Right. So I climbed through the window. The windows were all open. So I just stepped through the window, and June's like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this because I know she's afraid if the floor on the other side is a little too weak.
Well, I thought it was like going to be like if I got down there, how was I going to get back out? What if the floor? What if it was too low?
Her biggest fear is like these abandoned buildings will swallow her up.
Yes, that is a really legitimate fear, Ross.
I was afraid of ripping my britches out. So, yeah.
So I like, everybody else is, that's with our group is, come through the window, and June's the last one. And we're like, come on, June.
You mean it was just you and me?
We're doing it. You're going to do it. We're all going to jump off the bridge. Come on, June. So she finally, after we hold her hands and everything, get her through the window, we start walking around, and here's people walking through the door.
Yeah.
The freaking door was open. So after all that time, it was pretty funny. It was, but there was other ways out too, and it was open. But that was a really cool place. Actually,
it was.
You got some great pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. A lot of the ghost shows have been there, but yeah, I hear they were going to tear some of the buildings down.
Right, they had been condemned, so. Hadn't been taken care of over the years.
I'm glad we got to see some of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad when I see these beautiful historic buildings being torn down. It just breaks my heart. What I would give to have one of those,
Like, I heard the Leslie Gordon house is for sale.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
Been there a few
Yeah.
times.
It's actually pretty pricey. I know it was a bed and breakfast for
It
a
was like
while. but-
890,000 or something, or
Yeah.
$750,000.
No, that was-
4,000
that's
square
the
foot though,
new-
and
that's the newer house. The original is 2 million.
2 million for the
Wow.
original house.
The
Wow.
original house where the murders took place.
You're
is
buying
2
the
million.
history too. Yeah.
The house that she there because the owner owns both houses, the original house and the house that she moved to after the murders.
Oh.
So the owner owns both of them. So the other one is not going for as much as the original because the original is worth more because people died there. You know, the most famous murder took place there.
Right.
So yeah.
There's
I
a
didn't
really
know that.
there's a really cool what are they called? It's on Instagram. There's a page and it's an American page and it's this guy. He posts prices and real estate of all these old 1800s houses, and they're really cheap. Well, what I would consider cheap, like they're
But the
$300,000
sad
less.
thing is those houses are really cheap in these rural areas.
Yes.
yeah.
4 or 5, 6 hours away. If you want anything close to Tacoma, Seattle, you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Right.
possibly even up to millions.
Yeah.
For something that you can get for like a couple hundred, if you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So good looking, these houses.
It's kind of sad,
Yeah.
Well,
I'd rather be
honestly,
there anyway. But
honestly, the house that I actually renting the bottom part of a house, and this house is over. I think it was reduced in price, and the owner, I looked it up just to kind of see, and the owner bought it for $1.5 million. And I can tell you that this place is like plywood. I mean, it's not.
the construction is
Yeah. The
subpar.
construction's terrible. Things fall apart
You
in
pay
here.
for
It's
where
just
you're
like,
the area. That's what you're paying for.
yeah.
Not
Well,
Yeah.
we
for
live in
the
an
building.
amazing area. It's beautiful around here. I absolutely love it. I love the place. I love the house, but it's just like $1.5 million, and that was reduced, in price. So it's just
Well,
like,
I'm sure Jake's a prime example. I'm sure
Yeah.
I haven't been to your house yet, but I hear your new house is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you probably saved a lot of money because you moved out to bumfuck Egypt.
Mhm.
That would be by Olympia for every.
That's it.
And yes, it did cost. Well, when I bought my house, just south of Seattle, it appraised. It went up 5 years. It went up 40%. And
at least that's good.
yeah, and then I bought the place down here, and even though it was less expensive than the house I had near Seattle, I got 2.5 acres.
There you go.
And his puppies can run free.
My
You
puppies
get-
can run.
You get more house, you get more land.
Actually, the house is smaller.
money.
The house is smaller than the Burien house. So
But you have more land for your
I do.
for your babies to run.
So
And
my
that's
pit
just-
bull
it's
ranch
sad.
is just riotous.
The cost of living to be next to a major city is just ridiculous.
100%.
A lot of
Yeah.
people from California have moved to Wisconsin, believe it or not. I've met 4 of them
Really?
that are local
That's
here.
weird.
All moved from San Francisco, Sacramento. They said they told me this. They go, "We'd rather be poor than rich than be hot and poor."
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's kind of a funny
I don't know how
analogy.
people do it. You look at places like New York or LA, and it's just like you basically have to work 24/7 just to survive.
Or be a really good paying
Oh.
job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm lucky enough to have a job where I can work remotely, and I think that's shifted people's locations quite a bit. Because I work for a tech company, and they're just like, work wherever you want. So
Come on.
Right.
All right. So should we be talking about ghosts?
That was
I have a starter. What would you do if you wanted to buy a home that's haunted? I have been looking into this for
Mhm.
years. How can you tell if a house is actually haunted when you go to buy one that's actually
Trust
haunted?
your
if you're on the
gut.
market?
That's what I would say. Don't
Yeah.
always.
Trust your gut.
You can't
Yeah.
always believe. Some people, and that's the thing. Same thing with haunted objects on eBay
Yeah.
and stuff. People make up these claims because people will buy haunted things, and so people are notorious for posting fake haunted objects just because people will pay good money for what they think is haunted. So, for me, I would say if you're going to try and buy a house that you believe is haunted, definitely you're going to buy a house, you're going to want to walk through it and check it out first.
Yeah.
But trust your gut when you walk into that house. There are these, I think we're wired to be able to identify these odd energies that are around us, whether you believe you're psychic or not. There's that fight or flight that is built into us.
Your instincts.
Right. So I think there's a lot of times that, when you go into these places, you just know. I don't claim to be psychic, but there are times when I go into an investigation site, I don't know anything because I like to go in cold myself sometimes. That's why I usually have June set up the investigations, because I don't like to know everything. I want to experience it for myself, and June is just as psychic as a rock. So
yeah, I have no psychic ability whatsoever.
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, there are times when I've walked into these places and I'm just like, yeah, I can feel it. There is something to this. So yeah.
Mine RP as well.
Yeah, I'm on the I'm on the side of, listen to your feelings, but then sleuth some stuff because you got a street address. You can get the archives. You can see the news, stuff like that.
And just because someone was murdered in the house doesn't mean it's haunted. Or it's old, doesn't mean.
And just because every time you try to wash away their blood, it keeps coming back, doesn't mean it's haunted.
That is such a problem, especially when you got a white house.
It'd be terrible.
Would you live in a house where somebody was murdered?
This week I've noticed Amityville Horror House.
Would I live in a place haunted? Murder? Somebody was murdered. Sure.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have any. I mean, I have a problem with the story. I mean, I think, that would be difficult to think about all the time, especially if you know where they died and you'd be walking past that spot all the time going, oh,
if you think about it, in all the places that you moved around to, you may have lived somewhere that somebody had already died in the first place. You just
and
don't
hotels, all the hotels that you stayed at.
Yeah.
How many rooms, are they going to disclose? Oh, you're going to stay in the where Mr. Anderson died last week.
June slept in a bed where a woman died,
Yeah, I did. I slept in a bed. What do you think it was the same bed? Do you think they changed the
They changed the sheets.
Well, Maybe
not
kept
the
trying
mattress.
to wash away the blood and it kept coming back, June. I think she died there.
Tough times. You got to save everything.
That was pretty interesting. That was at the Nottoway plantation. The woman who used to own the plantation, she sold it, but even though she sold it, the owner let her live there until basically the day she died.
Right.
And she died in that bed. And there were a lot of stories from that room. And Ross and I tried to, see what we could find, but I don't think we got anything that night. But it was really interesting. But I slept in the bed.
You kept saying, Ross, quit touching me. Quit touching me, Ross. And I was just like, June, I'm sleeping over here on the couch.
Yeah.
Or she found a bunch of bugs crawling out because that lady died on the mattress, but they never moved her.
They never changed it. They never changed the sheets. Like, damn it.
No, in June, she was just touching herself. That's all.
So wrong.
So I will say, my current house, I am waiting to see if something happens because I looked stuff up.
Yeah.
And it turned out there was an old couple that lived here for like 40, 50 years. So I have a new construction. They had bulldozed everything in November of 2019. And the house was actually finished being built in July 2020.
Wow.
But there was an old couple that lived here. They had like a modular home type thing. And they died about in 2016. And then the lot became a big squatter, because it was just kind of out in the boonies, and you had like a shed and a trailer and this modular home there. And people would come and go, ambulances would arrive, the fire department would arrive. And the thing that the county finally did something is the trailer exploded.
Wow.
Was it a little meth lab?
I know.
I'm just saying, while we were, while we were putting up the fence and digging to put the poles and then everything like that, I found a couple needles, IDs, all that stuff, little packets Lots of little packets.
Oh my.
Sugar.
So I
little
would
sugar
I would
packets.
not be surprised if somewhere in the 2.5 acres.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Mm.
Nothing's happened so far. My pit bulls do not like bark at nothing.
Well, if you start snorting your gravel, we're going to start worrying about you.
Yeah, we will.
It's like,
We-
I'm out mowing the lawn and I'm like,
like trying to breathe in. Oh my God. Now we know where Jake gets all his energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
oh yeah, speaking, I need to come down. I'm
Amazing.
going to go get some wine. Let me.
Okay. You go right ahead. But
Okay.
yeah, it would be hard, I think, knowing, especially if a family was murdered there. I mean, if it was an old case like the Villisca Axe murder house, I think I could. Could I live there?
What do you know? The whole family was murdered there. What are you talking about, June?
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
I'm trying to think. It's like over 100 years old, though. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know. That would be really hard to really think about. You know,
Would the haunting be too much for you? Do you think all the
haunting?
hauntings-
No, I was just thinking about the history and just.
I
how
think
sad
for
it would
me,
be.
it depends on the haunting. If you're looking at something that's physically harming on almost a daily basis, no, I wouldn't want to live there.
Well, it's like the
Right.
Sally House. How you know, supposedly the spirit there has something against men.
Right.
You know, I'd be fine, but
Mhm.
Ross, you know, Come
I'd
in,
become
Ross.
June's guinea pig all the time.
Yeah, I'll see. I know we got to take your shirt off. We just have to sit here and wait.
That's when she invites Chris Hemsworth. That's what.
Oh, yeah. Chris Hemsworth needs to come to that place to check for scratches.
Yeah, she'd be like, the less you're wearing, the better. The ghosts really come out, I tell ya. You just close your eyes. You might feel something feeling you up. That's okay. It's the ghost. Believe me.
So wrong.
It's the ghost.
The ghost.
Whew. My mind just went all sorts of places. What were you going to say, Wendy?
Well, I had a question about how would you approach something? You know, I've had a lot of jobs out in rural areas recently, and an old house I drove by every day last week. You know, really old house. You can tell by the windows and the landscaping, and an old farmhouse. And I saw a lady there one day, and I so wanted to stop and ask her, "Hey, is your house haunted? Can I go inside?" But I didn't. But how do you approach things like that? I mean, or would you at all?
I definitely would. June's been with me when I've done cold, approaches. Just gone up to people and say, "Hey,"
Yeah.
like
And we do in all the restaurants we go
yeah.
to too. Do you have any ghost stories? You know,
the tugboat, first I think
the
one of the
tugboat
things, the
was
tugboat was
awesome.
one of them. Yeah. But I have no problem approaching a place that I think might be of interest. I just, first, you just start a conversation with them, and you kind of might want to feel out what their beliefs are, maybe bring up a ghost story or something like that and see how they, react to it. Is this, oh, that's cool. And it's like, well, this is a cool place. Is there any ghost stories? So that's usually my line is like, do you have any ghost stories? And that's where, they might tell you about their place, or they might tell you about another place they know.
Or they might tell you, "No, we don't," and slam the door. It just
Hey,
happens,
you do
too.
what you got to do. Yeah.
Just show off all your equipment. They'll let you in.
Yeah, but I have no problem approaching somebody and just asking,
Okay.
because that's what's gotten me into a lot of amazing places, is just having the
But yeah,
courage
I
to do
mean,
that.
what Ross was like speaking about the tugboat. I mean, we were just walking by and saw Captain Dave sitting out there. What was it? Wasn't he standing out there? And then
I was just standing out there, and I just started talking about how much, what a beautiful, old tugboat this was, and then I just flat out asked him. I said, "Well, do you have any ghost stories?" And he says, "Well, by the way,
come on aboard."
Yeah, so he invited us aboard and started telling us his ghost stories.
And it's been, a great friendship ever since. And
Cool.
so, yeah, it's been pretty awesome. They're absolutely amazing people.
I think maybe one of my I'm not going to call it a fear, but hesitations in going up to that particular house was because I saw on that same road a pickup truck with Pence, Trump, and the Confederate flag on one side, on each side, driving down the road, being rather harassing to different cars. I went, maybe now's not the right time.
Yeah,
I'm by
you gotta be
myself. Yeah.
sure when you're alone. You got to be careful around that, because being born and raised in Tennessee, it's pretty common outside of Knoxville to run into that. Luckily, I sound like I'm from there, so they kind of go,
right.
okay, he's a local, he's fine, So yeah, I definitely would not go along with these places.
We won't
the way he
sacrifice
talks,
him.
it sounds like his parents were related.
Yeah, meetyourcousin.com or whatever.
Oh, so wrong.
I trust their character by how many teeth they got missing.
I got all mine still. I got all mine. Where?
He's from that city place. Down
Yeah.
here, we ain't got no molars.
All right, Brenda.
Don't
if
hate
you're
me,
still
Southern
listening-
people. Don't hate me, Southern people. I'm just making
Yeah,
fun.
we're just kidding.
You can make fun of the Northerners. It's fine.
But Brenda, if you're still listening, guess where we're going once you get back and things lift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it's like, but and if they do slam the door in your face, okay.
Well, all right.
That
Probably is then. Yeah.
That's
that
happened to us at a museum too.
Mhm.
Actually, it wasn't me. It was my old friend Todd. He went to a certain museum and just kind of asked about, about some of the hauntings and if this place was haunted. And oh my God, we don't like your kind in here.
Oh my
He's like, my kind. And she's like, you're trying to make everything haunted. This is why, everything's going to shit around here.
Oh boy.
And other people were in there and they were like, you can't talk to people like that. And so she threw them all out.
I'd be like,
she
get the
good.
ghost hunters coming in because they might pay and you could use the money.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Well, and I have to say, I can validate the fact, being an author, I've done a lot of cold calls too about places that I'm writing about. And, you bring up the topic that, and a lot of times just to get them to call me, I won't tell them that I'm writing about ghosts. I'll just say I'm looking at, doing a feature on your property. And that's usually the message I'll leave them. And then when they call me back, then I'll lead into like, well, I hear you may have ghost stories. And I've been hung up on.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. Some people don't want
Or they say, no, it's not haunted. It's slammed.
Yeah.
It's not haunted, yeah.
The thing I've had is I've gone places and asked about it and they're interested. So I always have my ghostly activities cards ready to go. And they just flake from there on out. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Or if they're rude
more
to you,
common.
then you hand them your ghost card, right?
Yeah, seriously, ghost.
If they're rude to me, I hand them my FBI most wanted arsonist card.
Kind of like the Cecil
whoops.
Hotel. Like I've heard people from the Cecil Hotel has been all crazy about it ever since Ghost Adventures went there and filmed. And I heard
Well,
that
We just
How
watched
much
that.
How much
I
did
didn't
Ghost
see it.
Adventures, make up? I mean, it's like for the show, to get more and more people to probably, bombard them. I can kind of see why they're,
Well,
but
yeah.
you think
Take
that they would like
people
the
off.
publicity because more
Yeah.
people probably want to stay at the place. It's kind of in a bad area and
Yeah.
a little shady.
I mean, the place is notorious now because of the Elisa Lam case.
Yeah.
But Gabby, she watched it with us, so we watched this on Monday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she only called out one part. Gabby, if you're listening, put it in the chat. But I think you only called out that one part where you're like, "That's a lie," straight up when it came to the deaths and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and suicides that had happened there. It's more a suicide versus murder place, but there was a Pigeon Glory or something like that. She was definitely murdered. There's a couple of murders, but mainly suicides.
One of the Class A EVPs on the Cecil Hotel episode was the elevator opening. It was good.
Mhm.
They
Oh,
said
it's the elevator opening.
100% the elevator.
I've been there. It's a pretty cool place, just with its
The
history
architecture is
alone.
beautiful.
You know, I went in there. I have a picture of me in the elevator, the famous elevator. But you know, I wouldn't say that it's all paranormal. It's an odd case, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, who's to say that we're dealing with a mental problem or drug issues or
Well, they said there was no drugs or alcohol in her system, so
Yeah. So Gabby just chimed in, and it was the Black Dahlia reference because it was Black Dahlia was at the Biltmore, which is also in downtown LA, not far from Jewelers Row, and I think it's Pershing Square, I think is the name of it, but it's right over there.
Well, you know, the trouble with a lot of these ghost shows, and I won't name names.
You can.
We just saw it the other day.
Yeah, we don't.
But you know, I mean, they are notorious for running with the myths of the place and will not even slightly go with the truth. You know, they did that with Manresa Castle. They've done that with Preston Castle. They've done that with a lot of other places where they will.
Is that group? I won't say names, but it sounds like Host Dentures.
Yes. Yes. the
host encounters.
But seriously, you know, it's like they won't even slightly. I mean, you know, does that really make a good show if you find out the truth? You find out that the mad doctor didn't kill, 27 little children, and find out there wasn't a doctor there at all or any children, It's just like, yeah, we won't run with that one.
Well, I think a lot of these shows, they're so focused on the entertainment value.
Yeah, of course.
Making sure they keep the audience entertained, but they don't need to make up stuff. There's a lot of these places that have a good story, that have good history.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be dramatized or add things to it because they don't feel it's strong enough. And that's where it hurts a lot of us who are trying to be legit in our research and our work. And even, for me as an author, that's one of the things that I really fight with, is because, as I'm writing a lot of these stories, I have no problem debunking a lot of these stories as well. If I have the information to say that this story is bullshit, I will tell you this story is bullshit. And I think that is really important because as a paranormal investigator, we need to know what is a valid encounter and not confuse it with all these, made up stories or imagination, because it makes it harder for us to focus on what we need to be focused on in this field, because you don't know what's real and what's not, because there's just far too many people making up too much shit.
A lot of times when I go to places that have alleged stories of like terror and demons and murders and stuff, I shelf all of the hearsay and all of the word of mouth, and I just go in with the mentality of a clean investigation.
And you have to, as I've always said, go with what you know and not with what you think you know. That is so important.
Yep.
It's funny too, because as I do a lot of this research into a lot of these stories, I come to find out a lot of these stories are from, the medium said, or the psychic said, and so that right there, it's kind of thrown out because you don't know who this medium is or whether this person or psychic was even legit. So that's where a lot of these stories come from.
Yeah, talk about the ancient Ram's Inn, Ross.
The ancient Ram's Inn, that's a prime example. We when we went to Europe and we had the opportunity to spend the night at the ancient Ram's Inn. It's been a back in the day. I don't know about much anymore because I don't watch a lot of shows anymore. But the ancient Ram's Inn was featured on a lot of the ghost, hunting shows. And it had all these notorious stories. And so, we were really excited. We got it booked. We went out there and we met with the owner. He was still alive at the time, the elderly gentleman. And so he starts telling me all these, crazy stories. There's a baby buried in this corner here. And you could see where he actually started digging. He didn't find any baby, but he started digging, believing that there was a baby sacrificed in this corner, and then that's, he's being, sexually, raped, by a succubus, and, all these crazy stories. And I just started, asking myself, well, who told you this? And and it comes to find out, he gets a lot of these stories from other previous groups that come in and investigate, and psychics that have been there that tell him this stuff. And so this is a prime example where we have this problem where a lot of these stories are rooted to and I hate to say fake psychics, or just people who believe they know what they're doing and they don't know shit.
They want the attention and the
attention, or just there are people with overactive imaginations that believe that they're psychic when they're just not. And so they pass on this information to this elderly gentleman, and now he takes those stories and he passes on to other people. And so that's where this cycle, starts, and it continues and it goes on. And it's just like the internet, it becomes a copy and paste to all these different websites. And so these are all the true stories of this place. And as a researcher and an author, and I'm trying, to dwindle down to find out what's going on here, I have to, weed through a lot of that stuff. And that's one of the biggest problems.
One of my favorite ones that...
Go ahead. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Great. So one of my favorite stories, Ross, was when you and I went to ghost hunt the Manresa Castle, since June mentioned it, about the monk being hung in the attic. And I just remember the lady told us it was fake, and I just remember swinging on the rope they still had up there. It's like a tire swing or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, History Channel put that up there when they filmed it. And that's the thing. And that's another prime example is, back in the day, there weren't ghost hunting groups, going out and investigating these places. History Channel was just telling ghost stories from, eyewitness accounts. And so when History Channel did, or Haunted History it was, the Haunted History show did that episode on Manresa Castle, I had my team packed and ready to go. We had the place, booked for the weekend. We go out there, we meet with the district manager. I sit down, I interview the guy, and when I go to ask him about the ghost, stories, he looks at me and says, well, do you want the real stories or the fake stories? And I'm just like, the real ones, of course. And so come to find out, these stories about the Jesuit priest hanging himself and the woman jumping out of the window were all made up. They were made up by the bartender because there were things happening. The place is haunted. But the bartender, kept getting tired of people constantly, coming down to the bar at night, wanting to know who the ghosts were. And they didn't know. And so the bartender made up those stories. Just to satisfy all these people that were curious about the experiences that they were having in their room and wanted to know who it was or why the place was haunted. So he had made up those two stories. But, of course, the host Dentures did their show. And, of course, it's, the Jesuit priest is the ghost and the woman jumping from the window. If they had done
and did they have a baby buried on top of another coffin? Or something?
The crypt.
Phone rang in the hallway, didn't it? Phone ring or something?
It's just, that's a prime example of, just people not doing the real research, because I even put it out there. Once I learned that those stories were fake, I put it out there so people would not run with those stories.
But
and once,
listen.
The television shows, run with those stories, and I know they're not doing their research, So, yeah.
I stayed in that room at Manresa Castle, the one, I guess, below where the priest hung himself.
Right.
And we did a complete investigation of that room. We didn't get much evidence there. Where we got our evidence was the kind of like the banquet hall area and the hallways.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a great place. There are things happening there. It is haunted, but people just didn't know who. In fact, when we were up in the attic and investigating the attic, we got some great evidence from there. When me and Michael stayed there, we stayed in that room as well. You had booked that room, and I got that white misty thing
that was pretty cool.
The room with the motion sensor camera that picked it up. So
I remember you charging in because a banging was going on while I was sleeping, and it woke me up, and you were freaked out, and like what you were saying, the banquet halls where I heard footsteps, I heard chairs moving by themselves, and it's a very haunted building. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Or the pub, like when you go to the downstairs area, we got some good clips down there too.
Oh yeah,
it's a neat place. Yeah,
it is.
My favorite place there has to be the Palace Hotel, though, in Port Townsend.
I hate COVID. I have that place lined up.
I know it's pretty awesome.
It's amazing. I've been there. It's one of my favorites. The Blue Lady. I have a blue orb flying by.
I remember when we were investigating the Palace Hotel, and there was a group of us, and we were upstairs, doing our thing, and all of a sudden we kept hearing this loud moaning, and it was like, what the hell is that? And it's getting louder and louder, and next thing you know, we're getting close to one of the rooms, and there's a couple having sex in the room.
You're like, whoops.
He's fun.
All our surveillance equipment. Well, unless you think that there was a couple in there.
That's right. You should have busted it down, see what was really going on.
This is the paranormal investigation. We want to make sure you're real.
Is this the moaning lady of room 671?
Is that ectoplasm? We're not sure.
Ectoskeet? Oh, don't bring a black light in here. Don't bring the black light.
Yes, please, no. Oh, I'm so tempted sometimes to bring a black light along to a prison.
No.
Oh,
Stop, June. Stop.
That's not sanitary.
Or a lot of the brothels that we investigate.
Yeah.
We've investigated a lot of brothels.
You don't need to taste it. Yes, it's DNA.
What is this?
Oh, this cupcake's really sweet. Let me lick the wall.
Is this ectoplasm?
Alti.
So wrong. So wrong. No, we've investigated a lot of brothels. I think that needs to be another book of yours, Ross.
Yeah,
It is. It's on the list. It's
The haunted brothels.
I'm saving that for after a certain project gets out.
I got one an hour away from here. Well, two. We got Shakers and then the Baraboo Inn brothel, right?
I want to go to Shakers. I haven't been yet.
Don't tempt me, Michael. I'm about ready to just jump in my car and go somewhere. Maybe I'll just go in my hearse because I'm supposed to take.
I know.
See,
you got a hearse now.
Oh yeah, you got to talk about your hearse.
Is the hearse haunted?
My mom says it's haunted. I don't know why a hearse would be haunted. It's only used for moving the body from A to B.
Well, maybe someone lost an eye.
Maybe they weren't really dead when they put them in the coffin.
That's true. That little dingle, dingle, dingle. You heard, the.
Yeah.
You pound on the coffin.
I'm sure it's fine.
You're getting buried.
Let me out. I can't breathe in here. That's the point.
It's like, but I'm not dead.
Soon.
Yes.
Soon.
I always think that Monty Python.
You should put a storage coffin in it.
Yeah.
But
for aesthetic purposes.
Mm-hmm. You've got coffins in storage.
I do.
If you can get to them.
I do. It's kind of cool. I've always wanted a hearse. I've always wanted something a little older, but I'm not complaining whatsoever. I got this one because my mother had found it. She had sent it off to me, and she asked if I'd be interested. It's a 96 Lincoln Town Car hearse. It's bluish black, so it changes colors, so it's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And it was only had 55,000 miles on it. And so to find a hearse with low miles and the fact that it ran great, I was just like, and they only wanted 2,500 for it.
What's the miles per gallon? Is it diesel? What's that?
It's not diesel, but it is a gas hog.
Kilometer conversion.
It's one of those things that I just thought it was a rare opportunity. Even my mom was pressuring me to do it, so they were nice enough to get the hearse for me.
We can do that Mr. Creepy hearse tour now.
We could.
Yeah, the bad thing is there's only 2 front seats and there's not a seat, So if you did, give a tour in the hearse, they'd have to lay down.
Everybody lie in the back, okay?
Yes.
We'll rig it up with 4 coffins. Yeah. 4 coffins in the back, just lay down.
It's okay if you're lying on top of each other, just no touching. No touching.
That's right.
It's not that kind of tour.
They're actually great for drive-ins.
No.
It would be.
Yeah. So it's
been
really
done.
Cool. I'm sure it has. I'm just
That would be
excited. I
fun.
haven't been driving it as much as I'm supposed to be driving it because I can't go anywhere, you know. But otherwise, I'm really happy to own it, and so I had to take it in and get its tune up and oil change. So I did all that. So hopefully the hearse is happy with me now, and she loves me, and now she'll be my buddy forever.
And her name's Christine.
Christine the hearse.
It's Leon.
Leon
the Lincoln.
So bad. That's a bad name.
June hasn't even been in my hearse yet.
No, I haven't.
She's so dying to get in.
I'm dying to get in. I've been too busy. I'll have to make my
If
way
this
down
hearse is
there.
rocking, don't come knocking.
That's right. So yes, I finally own a hearse. It's actually my second hearse. I actually bought an old 70s hearse a while back, but it was one of those that didn't run, needed a lot of work, and so it ended up being sold. So now I got a hearse that runs. Yay.
Just go take it to the grocery store.
Yeah, I can load up the back.
I've done it. Yep.
Around yours.
The only other thing too is the previous owners took out all the rollers in the back, so I have to try and find the hearse rollers to put those back in. So
that's why we have eBay.
The Wish app for eBay. Yeah. Well, actually, the Wish app might send you something different. It might send you comes with bodies or something.
I've been looking online. I can't find any online. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. I've looked eBay and stuff.
You just make your own. Get rolling pins. Strap them there.
Probably, yeah, it might work.
Roller skate blade things.
Yeah, a little roller skate blades. Make it.
But I think we've decided we're going to make it the official ghost vehicle, so we can take it on investigations.
Gonna get some big ghost decal for the doors and the back, and probably put a skeleton up on top, waving his little arms. Yay!
Slimer. You need Slimer.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Proton packs. What I forgot what they call the little containment thing is.
Containment unit?
With the containment unit
trap?
from Ghostbusters. Yeah, the trap. What was it called?
Traps.
It was just a trap? Oh, I thought it had a better name than that. Okay. Use the proton pack on your back.
For those
and you split.
Ghostbuster fans out there, they're probably flipping us off right now. Like, God damn it. How dare you not know the name?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And that movie didn't come out this fall, so
I know.
So bummed.
Yeah.
It looks really cute. I hope it's going to be that fun.
Candyman's coming out, the remake.
That'll be interesting.
I'm nervous.
You know, I
like
love
the
Tony
Candyman
Todd.
movies.
I love Tony Todd so much. It's just like, is he? I wonder if he's going to make an appearance in it, or
I think he
the new movie.
I think he makes an appearance in it.
That's a sad story, though. It's one of those movies that, even Frankenstein. I can't really watch Frankenstein because it's so sad to me. Right. It's just very sad. And it's like Candyman's another story like that. It's so freaking sad. The horror the sadness overcomes the horror of it.
What are you talking about, June? You always
that is the horror
villain.
I do not. They are misunderstood villains. Okay. They are not real villains. I mean, they are. It's just, it's very sad. It's one of those movies I don't like to watch very often, and I do fast forward a lot through because it's very sad for me. A lot of movies like that, the horror movies that they villainize. Well, look at poor Jason. Mrs. Voorhees.
The movie Bloody Birthday. Have you seen Bloody Birthday?
Oh
yeah. April Fool's Day.
My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are all wronged people who
Jeffrey Dahmer,
Sleepaway Camp.
Misunderstood.
Now, Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, I mean,
I love that movie.
That's a ride.
She was a little, I have to say, I enjoy all the other Sleepaway Camp movies, Angela, the other Sleepaway Camp movies, because they're so funny. Have you seen them, Jake?
I'm sorry, I was reading about Candyman to see if Tony Todd was in it. What was that?
No, it was the other sleepaway camp movies where Angela goes to camp.
Oh yeah, I've seen the other. Yeah, I've seen a couple of the other ones. They're batshit crazy. I love them.
I think there's 4 now.
I mean, like I have moved. Well, I do like my deathly serious horror movies, but I gotta say, like Hatchet, and if you remember Student Bodies from the early '80s and stuff, I just love some horror comedy.
Sleepaway Camp 2.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp 2 is fun.
Yeah,
that was my coming into puberty movie when you see like the naked stuff like that.
Yeah.
So was Chucky just an abused doll?
No.
No.
He was a villain.
He was bad. That's so.
He was bad.
I can confirm Tony Todd as Daniel Robitaille, Candyman. So he is Candyman in Candyman.
What?
Yeah.
Tony Todd.
Yep. Tony Todd as Daniel Robitaille, Candyman, a vengeful spirit that kills anyone who summons him by saying his name 5 times.
Are you sure it's not the old one?
No, this is 2021, the Jordan Peele one.
Wow.
So they're bringing him back to reprise the role? I thought it was a remake. That's good to know. I might watch it then.
Halloween,
Still sad.
This year too, Halloween. Michael Myers coming back.
Now he's a villain. Because he really does not have any sadness in that story.
Okay, so we got to talk about this. I read the novelization of Halloween.
Okay.
And in it followed like reincarnated spirits of a brave and a young indigenous lady being reborn, and they're all the time, and it always ends tragically for the couple. And it just happens that in this case in Haddonfield, Illinois, the reincarnation was a brother-sister.
Oh, interesting.
And so it was always fated for I don't even know if to say brave is appropriate anymore. The young indigenous fellow will always end up killing the lady. And that's what happened here.
So now we have to feel sorry for him.
No.
Okay.
I feel bad for Pennywise. He just wanted to make people laugh.
Yeah.
I know. That's all he wanted.
Same with a leprechaun. He just wanted to give you gold. He didn't really want to kill you.
He just wanted his gold. That's all. People kept stealing from him.
I know.
And he had to get it back.
And Freddy, he just loved children.
Just wanted to give back scratches.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a villain. No sorry for him.
Pinhead was just a little confused between what's pleasure and what's pain.
Right. He didn't understand.
Acupuncture.
He didn't understand.
Little acupuncture in the face.
But have you guys seen Bloody Birthday? It came out in 1981.
You mean Happy Birthday to Me?
No, this is a different one.
Bloody Birthday. That movie.
I've seen them all. What do you mean?
You cannot remake that movie. Bloody Birthday was introduced to me because of my old punk rock band. We have a song called Bloody Birthday from 1981. It's a horror film. It was actually the first film involving kids shooting and killing their parents. It's and they could never remake it today. No way. It's a movie of 81. Like it's a pretty dark film. But a lot of those films you just can't remake. I mean, there's no way. But
they try to remake some of these films, but they try to make it a little bit, I guess you'd say a little more PC.
The Exorcist 2021. Are you ready?
What?
The Exorcist 2021.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's like they're remaking that.
Yeah.
Hollywood has no original ideas.
They're afraid of original ideas. That's why they keep
right.
No, original ideas go straight to video on demand. But I mean, this is why we have Netflix nowadays, because they can take those risks.
Has anybody been watching 30 Coins?
I have not.
I can honestly tell you, it's been pretty good. I think there's only 3 episodes right now, but I don't think Ross would like it. It might be too scary.
Too scary.
30 coins.
I don't
or
mind
30
scary.
coins?
I just don't like gore. That's my thing. Yeah. It's just like, I don't want to see a body being ripped open,
You play Resident Evil Biohazard all the time in VR, don't you?
You don't want to see
I love the
a
Resident
cow
Evil
give
movies.
birth to a baby. A human baby?
You saw that part? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
It's like the
Yeah,
thing,
that
and I
was
think
pretty
what-
gross.
Yeah,
I think
yes,
what
it
ruined it for me was as a kid, I saw The Thing, and that whole scene with the dogs ripping open and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was
that
sad.
terrified me so
Oh well, that's
much.
body
as a kid.
horror. So I mean, there's only certain movies that do that kind of thing. Like the last body horror, and it wasn't like transmorgification of stuff, but was it the green? You know, it was the cannibal movie. Green something.
Green
That-
Inferno.
Yeah, Green Inferno. That was some harsh
I didn't see that
stuff.
one.
That's hardcore.
I
That was
decided not to see
hardcore.
that. Yeah.
I will say the one movie I wish they would remake from the 80s is The Burning. That was like the first horror movie I ever seen. And that classic scene with like the hedge clippers and the raft.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That is a really good movie. I forgot
I
about
know June wants to see them remake The Stuff.
it.
Oh, that was amazing. I love
That
the
was
stuff.
such a fun movie. The Stuff.
It's the stuff.
It's yogurt.
I mean, it's just like The Blob 1985
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, a lot of those movies are fun. I enjoy watching them. It makes me laugh. You know, it's like Night of the Comet. It's like they were talking about remaking Night of the Comet. I don't know if you've all seen that.
You
but,
couldn't do that in this day and age and have it be right.
True.
But it's just like, I mean, I could see that, you know, even though I enjoyed the old one, I would kind of like to see a remake of that one. Now The Exorcist, I mean, that's classic because, you know, you have these great actors, you know, working on it. And Exorcist 3, which a lot of people don't really know about, with George C. Scott.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's really surprising. People don't really know about that one.
That one has like one of the best jump scares ever with the Phantom Nurse. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Phantom Numb chasing the nurse.
Yeah, that made me
That-
even jump, and then that hardly ever happens.
I will say
that. What's the one where she's at the end? She's standing on the roof and waving her hand above and trying
that's
to.
The Omen.
Mhm.
That's the
This
Omen.
is for you, Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she
Did
puts
you
the
guys-
noose around her neck and jumps off. That's his nanny.
Did you guys
no,
watch
no,
The
no.
Exorcist?
This was Linda Blair,
Oh yeah.
and all the locusts are around her and everything.
Oh,
like
that was The
Trying to
Heretic.
control 'em.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
that was
second one,
two.
right?
That's the second
Yeah,
one,
that
but that's
was
with
lame.
Richard Burton.
Um,
Yeah, that
that's
was
supposed to be the worst
horrible.
one, right?
Mhm.
That was horrible.
I will
Oh.
say, now that I'm a bit older and stuff, I used to hate 70s horror, but now, like, I love Italian 70s horror and
Oh, it's
like
the
Suspiria and was it Portal to Hell or Gates to Hell or some shit like that?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
That was
But
a
then-
good one.
But then there was one that came out, I don't know what year. It was in the 2010s or something, House of the Devil. That was
Oh,
totally
with
Uh-huh.
she's a babysitter.
babysitter and
Yeah.
it's got the and I'm not even into like Satan cults and stuff, but I was like loving
That was good.
And that was
Yeah, that
a
was
total 70s vibe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know, it's like
Other ones.
some of those movies are really fun. I mean, they're just a lot of fun. Like Tombs of the Blind Dead. I don't know if you've seen that, but the cinematography in it is amazing, and it's an old Italian movie. And but it's so funny because all of a sudden, when the zombies who used to be Knights Templar Knights,
Mhm. Oh, I
Um,
remember this one.
and they're attacking, there's skeleton hands, and you can see that they're plastic skeleton hands, and they're coming in trying to grab the girl's shoulder, and you know, of course, she's screaming, you know, hysterically, but those are great movies. And the horses they make out to look like zombie horses, and
Mhm.
you know, it's just like, you know, what kind of entertainment, you know, do you get with that? It's awesome.
One of my favorite modern horror movies is Hell House LLC.
I
Oh,
love the Hell
love that
House
too. It's
movies.
fun.
All three of them. I enjoyed all three of them.
That
Even
one
though,
took
Yeah,
me in
I
the
own them.
theater.
yeah,
Have you seen those yet, Ross? You saw it. You saw Hell House LLC. It's the found footage one with
Mhm.
the people making the horror
Abaddon.
movie out of the Abaddon
Abaddon in upstate New
Abaddon
York.
Hotel.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did. You told me you did. When we tried to watch it that one night, you said, I already saw that. You just didn't
I
want to
don't know.
watch
Mhm.
it.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
so I
seriously, I don't remember. A lot of these movies, I have to see the cover to be like, oh, I saw that. You know.
yeah. So I will say with Hell House, the third one.
They just
It's
crap the
almost
bed.
it's like Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, where they borrow so much from the previous movies, but they still get to what they're doing.
Yeah. And then I
But
like the ending
I
where they
was still
tied
okay
it all
with
together.
it. Yeah, where they tied it all together.
Yeah, it was
what did you
fun.
guys think of the Black Christmas one from Not So? That was not.
That was about the dumbest thing I ever saw.
Yeah, why? Why did they do that?
It was kind of.
I don't know.
It was like Black Christmas in name only.
I think when you name movies, X's should appear in front of our screen if we haven't seen it.
Oh, sorry. Don't waste your time. Yeah, don't waste your time.
I wish Netflix would do that. You know, it's like say, "Oh, you've already seen this movie."
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate that too. You know,
I kind of like the ending,
Of
Yeah.
what? Of Black Christmas?
the new
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where the ladies start killing off all the frat boys. Yeah, that's
Well, yeah,
I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
I was
Did.
too. But the rest of it was like, oh,
Yeah.
come on. No.
Yeah, there was a couple of like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first remake of Black Christmas, I mean, they had to put the story of why the killing happened. And I think that's what made the very original Black Christmas so good
Mhm.
was because this, whatever he was, he didn't have a story. And you, in your mind, your imagination, you're trying to kind of think, why is he doing this? What's the thing about it? And, but the second one, they had to create the backstory.
They had some really good gore in that remake one. What year did that one come out? Early 2000s, right? Was okay. Yeah, because I'm always a sucker for like a skate blade to the face. I'm just like,
yeah.
that's amazing. But I've been really digging like the Mortuary collection or something.
That
I like
was fun.
anthologies because I think horror works
I
with
love
shorter
anthologies.
films because like if you get a standard slasher flick, I mean, after a while you're like, I mean, even now, and then they keep with the franchise going on. I'm like, oh yeah, Jason's taking a machete. Can I get some innovation with the kill?
I love the anthologies where everything, you don't know how they're going to all like blend together, but all of a sudden you find out at the end how they all kind of fit together. And I love that. Trick or Treat is one of my favorites.
Yes, that is my favorite. And I'm a huge fan of VHS 1 and 2.
Yeah,
me too.
I love the VHS movies.
I love the
too.
VHS movies.
Have you seen those, Ross?
But not the third one. The
I
third one's
remember
shit.
VHS.
No, I thought you were
I thought
too
you were
old.
Betamax. I thought you were a Betamax kind of dude.
I forget
You're
the
too
name
old
of
for
it.
VHS, Ross.
I'm like, what is this? Like a big cassette? What are you doing with this?
This doesn't fit in my Walkman. How can I jazzercise to it? Yeah.
What's the movie where they go around to all the haunts? They go on a road trip to all the haunts.
Oh, October.
Built. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. Yeah, it was really
Terrifier is-
creepy.
Terrifier is more of a newer horror film. If you haven't seen Terrifier,
Yeah, that was
Pretty-
pretty the one part where she's hanging upside down and he decides to like saw her
That was-
in half, that was a little too much for me.
based off Ed Gein. Ed Gein
Like,
actually.
ow.
That was
Yeah.
actually. It was how Ed Gein actually killed Mrs. Warden.
What was
Oh,
the one
okay.
that you just introduced me to, June, that you watched when you were over here?
The Bad Ben's movies.
The what?
No,
The Bad
Host.
Ben movies.
The Host, or what was it? The Host?
Oh, I
Oh
liked
yeah,
Host.
the host. That was
Host
fun.
was good. That was short. That was
2021.
fast. That one actually worked out for found footage. But I'm a big fan of like Unfriended.
Yeah, I liked
And
Unfriended too.
I liked Unfriended a lot too.
My whole
Yeah.
thing is just like, the whole time these girls are going through this, not once did they ever try to call the police.
I know. Well, they probably
I'm
thought
like,
it was
oh,
ghosts.
my friend's being ripped apart. I'm going to go run over to her house and see if I can help her.
Did you guys ever watch the Netflix Exorcist series?
Oh yeah.
I like
I
it.
haven't watched that yet.
I
The
watched
priest was
I
pretty
haven't
hot.
but
Should we be having bad thoughts about the priest?
oh, that's right. I remember seeing him now. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
Has anyone ever had an attachment?
Okay, Ross. I know you're gonna say, "Well, June is
Yeah.
my."
June's my attachment. What are you talking about?
People have told me it was really kind of weird. I had somebody send me a message that they thought that I had an attachment. And then all of a sudden, it's like the next day, somebody else sent me a note saying, June, I think you have an attachment and you need to get that taken care of.
Oh, June, that's when we all got the email and said, we're supposed to tell you have an attachment.
But it was just kind of weird how that happened. And I really didn't feel any, I didn't feel bad or run down at that time. So I don't know if people, because they were saying this from a video. So I don't know if Ross was just standing too close to me and they kept thinking that his beard was, that a scary demon attachment.
Well, there could be a squatch hiding in that thing.
But I don't think
so.
I've ever had an attachment. And I think, a lot of people always ask me that, how do you prevent yourself when going into a lot of these haunted places from things attaching to you? And I've always told people, I think it's just being respectful. Mm-hmm. When you go into a property, just be respectful. I think if anything's going to follow you home or some sort of attachment, it's when you're going to go in and be disrespectful and say, I don't believe you, there's nothing here. I think that's when you have something that's going to say, yeah, I'll get you. Not right now, but I'll get you later when the cameras aren't on. I think that's a situation where you might have something attach you, but I don't know.
Folks, I was going to say we have a question from the chat from Chandler.
It's like, people are listening to us. Totally forgot.
Yes, actually, yeah, there are. Yes, there is an audience. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, and by the way, Mike, there's a Merle in the chat. I just thought I'd say that.
Okay. Oh yes, that's from Mark Spender, right?
Yes. Yep. From Chandler. So question for hauntings. Have any of you dealt with hauntings that were less ghost related and instead possibly natural spirits of a sort?
You mean like I'm not sure.
Like energy?
Natural spirits. I mean,
are we talking like fairies and
elementals? I guess Chandler, if you're listening, could you be more specific about when you say natural spirits? Because I think like fairies, elementals, stuff like that.
Probably elementals. Chandler is more of a spiritual witchy type. So
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, to address that question is I'm more of the scientific method. So I'm not going to identify anything of a different realm when we're not even sure what we're dealing with in the first place. So I always, as I go back to my constant saying is go with what you know and not with what you think you know. We're still in a situation where, excluding people's personal beliefs, and I mean no disrespect, but if you are trying to claim that you're being scientific in your research, you can't bring a lot of that metaphysical element into your research. You really do have to go by the readings to validate what you might be experiencing, because we don't know enough, to be honest. It's still, for us, when it comes to trying to prove the paranormal, it's still pretty much a guessing game for us. We don't have all the answers. Now, I know there's a lot of people that want to apply their religious beliefs or their spiritual beliefs, and that's fine. But for me, I have to be true to myself, and I have to be true to the field, and as a scientific-based research, and just kind of go with what we are actually experiencing. What is the true phenomena that we're encountering? And I think that's the best that we can do now. And in a lot of cases, I hate to say it, we can't always label what we're experiencing.
On that kind of same wavelength there, poltergeist activity, is that more of a natural coming from a person or an actual spirit in there?
Well, that's the thing. The term poltergeist is misused quite often because media's misused it quite often. So people don't really know what the true term of poltergeist actually means. If you go to the old textbooks, poltergeist was phenomena that was projected from an actual living person. So those were referred to as agents. They thought that it was non-channeled telekinetic energy coming from a living person on the property that was causing the physical phenomena to happen in their home. So they, when you deal with situations like, puberty, stressful conditions, they also started to find that women going through menopause or even a pregnancy now, they feel that when your body's going through a physical change, that's when you can trigger that that psi ability, and that's where you're actually producing the phenomena and not aware of it, due to your own stressful conditions that you're going through. That's one of the reasons why my team, we always have people journal everything that they're experiencing, because you may find a pattern, and it even says in the journal where you're going through a stressful condition where people fighting in the house when things happen, and that's when you can actually determine if it's true poltergeist phenomena. And so people tend to think if there's any reports of physical phenomena, it's a poltergeist, an entity of its own, and that's not the case. That's where the term is misused quite a bit.
But isn't that, I mean, poltergeist, it means noisy ghost in German.
Well, it's all, yeah, the original word does mean that.
So
but again,
couldn't it also be
old text? I'm going by old text, old school research. That's how they identified poltergeist phenomena. But we're also in a elements of research where we're still learning. Yeah. We're adapting to what we learn through the decades of researching this stuff. Yeah. So,
But the sad thing is, a lot of these old teachings and old, everything is being lost in the wayside from people who I call fast food ghost hunters, who don't want to, who don't want to do the work for it. They just
I don't think it's not that they don't want to do the work. It's just they're misled as well. No, when you're dependent on, trying to get your education, I'm not saying there's people out there that aren't really trying to learn. There are people out there trying to teach, but then again, you have to determine how did they learn their method as well. Mm-hmm. If you're going to say you're a professional ghost hunter because you've seen every episode of Ghost Hunters, well, you're going to be pretty limited on your research and knowledge of the field, because even what they show on TV is not everything, So it's just, even books that are published. I have a huge collection. If you've ever been to my place,
he does.
I have hundreds and hundreds of ghost books. I love to collect them, but you can go through and find that a lot of them have their information wrong. So just because it's been published in a book doesn't always mean that it's right. You really have to do your research. Mm-hmm. And, just because somebody's teaching a class online does not necessarily mean that they know everything.
You can be certified to be a ghost hunter now.
Well, you could
pay $300.
You could be certified to be a demonologist for doing a 3-hour course.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous, because anybody in that field or trying to be a true demonologist, you learn that going through, churches. And that's years and years of study. Somebody who claims to be a demonologist should know the Bible from front to back. And most of these people that are demonologists or claim to be demonologists don't even know, can't even recite half the scriptures.
Right.
Cool title.
Yeah, exactly. Looks good on a business card.
They don't even understand the Bible, So it's just, it's a lot of that misleadings that are happening in this field quite a bit, because the field is so popular, and people are trying to make a buck off of it, so you got a lot of people that will just take information that they've learned off the internet and pass it on as this is, the knowledge. And they're wrong as well.
Don't you think, though, in 5 to 10 years, it's going to be worse? I mean, the old ways are only
getting worse,
going away.
Everything.
Nobody knows anything,
because the biggest problem that we have is those who have been in the field prior to the television shows. And I can tell you that's probably less than 10 people when I count on my hands, all right, that have been really doing the research before the ghost hunting shows. Those people have been pushed aside. So right. A lot of them, most people in this field didn't even know who Hans Holzer was until he had a show based off of him.
Yeah, right. That's true.
most people didn't even, the Warrens were lucky enough to have, a name for themselves because they were involved in a lot of the big cases, the big stories, the movies that were, produced off of their research, Amityville Horror,
loosely
and a few others,
based.
yeah.
When I
So-
was little, that's what got me into this. Is I probably 10, 11 years old. I watched Amityville Horror. And then I researched the Warrens at the library on my own and in other ways, and that's kind of what got me into the paranormal ghost stuff before all of the mainstream shows. And I find I'm a humble person, I feel, and I like to share my knowledge, obtain knowledge, and all that stuff. But I find a lot of the newer teams, especially ones that I kind of cross paths with, they kind of poo-poo that sort of knowledge because I don't use a ghost app on my phone that says demon and all that stuff. And
You don't?
I've inherited Ross's bluntness with apps, and I'll be like, "You're wrong."
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm just uttering Ross's words with, I think old school has a place, and I'm all for that, and learning from the older crowd versus the television era. Because when we were talking about exorcists or demonologists a few minutes ago, Canada's pretty delayed on that sort of stuff up here versus down in the States. And we're noticing demonologists and all of these exorcists that aren't religious, they're new age exorcists popping up. And I think what they're doing is, since the ghost hunting field is so saturated right now, they're trying to one up or make themselves stand out. And I think it's more of a street cred than an actual skill, because I was inherited a case from somebody that said that an exorcist came to their house and blessed it with whatever they do. And now shit's hit the fan. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on poops hit the
You
fan.
bet you can.
And now they have a lot of paranormal activity happening. So it's just...
Well, I'd have to say the biggest problem we have in this field is we're falling into the fact that there's a lot of lazy ghost hunters.
Yes.
People want the instant gratification when they go to a haunted place. They don't want to do the work. And so they rely on a lot of these apps to validate their claims.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these apps have been proven to be misleading, psychological issues with them. And so that's the biggest problem that we have, is the younger generations don't want to do the work. They're being trained through society, just be lazy about it. The television shows, this is what they do. You can do the same, just pull out your ghost box. Hey, there's a ghost. There we go. That's what we're phasing into.
We all know the whole spirit box situation, but I'm just going to use a comparison. So spirit box SB7 has been around for a long time now, but now that's not good enough, because once you remove the antenna, once you take out the tuner, it's just white noise, which is what it's designed for. But now there's the apps that'll say all the algorithms of the Google Maps of where you are. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a high. You're chasing that high. Since the spirit box isn't good enough, but you have all these, that's what people actually believe.
And that's the thing. These devices are being manipulated so that it makes the ghost hunt more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ghost hunts are boring for long.
They are.
You just sit there and talk to the air. That's what I tell people.
And that's the biggest frustration, because you get a lot of these, and me and Jake are working on a show that the biggest problem is you get a lot of these, YouTube channels that are out there producing, videos, every week of their latest ghost hunt. And every time they ghost hunt, they got, 10, 15, 20 things happening on their ghost hunt that is just amazing.
Yeah. It would be.
If ghost hunting was like that, in all honesty, we would have the answers. Science would be on board saying, yes, there is something here, But it doesn't happen like that. People manipulate these videos, and they do it for, the subscribers, because they want to have so many subscribers, they can make so much money. That's what it's all about.
Follow, and share this podcast.
This internet fame. People want this internet fame, and people want, to make a living off of having a YouTube channel. And that's what we've come to. That's
Yeah.
And we're losing grasp of the reality of true paranormal research.
You'll like this. It's my idea that I hatched today, and I filmed an interview on a fellow ghost hunter who I have a ton of respect for. And I kind of dubbed it Paranormal Hot Seat, in a sense. So say if I'm interviewing you, Ross, or June, or any of you guys, I'm going to ask you hard questions about the paranormal field. And I'm filming the interview so people know, because I'm trying to get a grasp, kind of like a baseline for where the paranormal investigators are at. Like I ask a lot of old school questions of investigative techniques, and I'll be like, why? And people don't seem to like that word.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't know why. They truly don't understand what a real paranormal investigation is, or what it's all about. And so, that's the frustrating part, because it's so easy for anybody to call themselves a ghost hunter. You just have to go out there, buy an EMF detector and camera. Hey, I'm a ghost hunter now. You didn't have to go through any school or training or have a certificate to validate. Well, you could get a certificate now, but just the fact that, you don't really have to put much into it. You can watch a season of a ghost hunting show, and now you can go out and be a ghost hunter. And that's the biggest problem, because people have a false reality of what true paranormal investigating is like.
It's a command and conquer game now. Like, people don't care about the actual investigation evidence or follow through.
And it's a popularity contest too.
So dumb.
That's the thing is, people want to produce a bunch of fake shits, or, use a horrible app on their phone, or a horrible, ghost box app or whatever, and utilize this as, oh my God, it's a demon. So there's definitely a demon in this house. I wish it was that easy. I do.
Me too. Yeah, I wish.
The real work is tedious and boring.
Yes, it
100%.
is.
But I am so focused on maintaining that credibility. I'm not gonna, throw a ghost app out there and say, hey, look what I did today.
No.
I would expect Jake to slap me across the face. And look at that smile on his face. You'd enjoy it.
Film that. Film that. That'll get you paid.
I would just go, bitch, please.
But, in all seriousness, I'm very proud of the team that we have. And, I think, you do have to go into this with an open mind, because we don't have all the answers. And you do have to be willing to experiment and try different things. But the biggest problem that we have is people aren't applying common sense to this field. They don't know how to troubleshoot. They don't know how to be critical, and they can't take criticism either.
Oh no.
When they submit something that they think is a ghost, they have to accept the fact. Even when I submit something online, I have to be able to take criticism, because they weren't there when I captured that.
Right.
So I expect them to question me. I expect them to put out, information and say, okay, well, I don't think it's a ghost. I think it's this.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. If I put out a video that I think, hey, this could be a ghost, and Jake wants to pull it apart, I'm for it. That's fine. He doesn't have to accept it to be a ghost, because he wasn't there. And I should, acknowledge that and respect that. I'm not going to get pissed off at him because he's going to poo-poo my ghost. Bitch. But and that's just the way it is. But until we all have a standard structure and protocol that we all follow, and that we can trust that we all follow it, and then when we submit evidence, we can trust each other and say, well, if Mike thinks that's a ghost, I know how Mike does his investigations. I know the protocols he follows. I've been with him. I'm probably going to say, wow, he may have something there. That's the road we need to get back on, but we're not there, because everybody does their own thing. Everybody has their own way of ghost hunting. Everybody has their own beliefs. Everybody's biased in their own way. So we struggle to find a common ground.
Yep.
Yeah. With that being
All right, somebody say something funny. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you were
We went
such a
all
riot
serious.
there, Ross. You were such a riot.
Oh, I have a haunted object to send you, Ross. I have one.
Ooh, tell me
Yeah,
about
is
this
that
object.
doll?
Just wait, is it going to make it through customs?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Does it have a bottle of crack in it?
It may.
You've heard that story, haven't you?
Check the legs.
Oh my God, that was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
It's an alpaca. It's a tiny little alpaca.
I was going to say, if you're sending us out,
It's a real alpaca.
And it's rabies shot. It's good to go.
You have to walk it across the border.
better have its rabies shot.
Or toss it.
Yeah.
Alpaca catapult.
Oh my God. We had this woman donate this clown doll, and she says, "Oh, I pick up all this weird stuff off of it." And I'm always nice. Hey, if you got something of interest, sure, I'll put it in my museum. I like to have more detailed stories rather than this gives me the creeps. It doesn't necessarily make it haunted, but she gives me this clown. We're at a conference. She gives me this clown doll, and it's nothing that you probably wouldn't pick, that you could easily pick up at a 7-Eleven, that kind of a doll, no big thing. And I am holding it, and she walks away, and I am feeling that there's something hard inside of it. So as soon as she walks away, I go to look, and I lift up the underneath the clothing, and here is this crack pipe inside the doll. and I'm looking at June, and June's looking at me. I'm like, what the fuck? Is there crack in this thing? And she's trying to get me to smuggle it.
Wow.
She's gonna want it back once we get her across the state line,
I was thinking maybe the whole doll is filled with crack.
Jesus.
All be with drugs.
Yeah, it was horrible. I seriously didn't know what to do. I was like, is the FBI watching us? Are there cameras? What's going on?
Am I
And
getting
it has your
punked?
fingerprints.
Yeah, it has
I
his
know,
fingerprints
I
on it.
I was literally about ready to just throw that doll away, but I felt okay. I really searched it over, made sure that there wasn't anything else.
And plus,
He did
Ross's
throw it.
other crack pipe was broken. So.
I know, like, gore,
That was something.
Maybe I'll get hepatitis from this too. Awesome.
And guess what? We named the little clown
Crackles?
Crackles. Yes. Oh, so wrong. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess on that note.
Ooh, on that note.
There's nothing like ending on crack, right?
Yeah. Why
I
don't
love
we go
doing
around?
this show with everyone because it's just
Me too.
It's
Why
a
don't we go
roller
around
coaster.
and say where
What do you
where
mean?
people
Mike Archer shows like this too?
they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
how can people get a hold of each of you? Like not physically. Yeah. I'd like to get a hold of you.
I come with a safe word if you want to get a hold of me.
Oh yes. I have
If
it
you
written
get
down
through
to
the guard dogs, you can see me. Yeah.
I'll say I always encourage people, definitely go to Amazon if you want to check out any of my books. Just Ross Allison on Amazon. You can follow me on Facebook as well. I did finally put up a public figure page, so definitely follow that. I'll probably post a lot of live feeds off that. I do have 2 more books coming out this year. Haunted Historic Hotels is coming out, and the one that I'm just finishing up is Haunted Prisons. So watch for those.
Cool.
And definitely check out aghost.org as well.
Please do. And
Ross,
Mike or Michael?
if as you were saying, people getting into it and trying to research but not getting a hold of the right research type of books and articles and things, can you recommend any?
Well, if you want to, it depends on the avenue that you're interested in. When it comes to the paranormal, you have the metaphysical elements. You can have, the heavy tech elements. I know I have a book out there that teaches people the most important part about journaling for ghost hunting.
Haunted journal.
Yeah, I know Jake's got a book out there too on ghost hunting as well. I definitely would encourage, people, just look into the people that you in the element of the ghost hunt that you're most intrigued about. You could be just from, an observer's point of view. You may be more keen to the psychic elements, and you may be more keen into the tech element of it as well. But I always say, don't forget about the old school stuff. Like a lot of people aren't aware of Lloyd Auerbach. He was one of those people out there doing this long before these television shows. He's somebody that I respected and learned from as well. So definitely look into that. So it just really depends on the avenue that you want to go into when it comes to researching the paranormal.
Okie dokie. Yay! Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Mike and Michael?
You can find me at Creep Show Paranormal on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year for us. We got a lot of more investigations coming up. You can also follow me, Michael Taylor, on Facebook, or Madysen Schmidt on Facebook. And we're also on Instagram. And right now we're working on a website, like a web page. So at creepshowparanormal.com.
For me, you can find me, the Paranormal Road Trippers, on Instagram and Facebook. Easy.
That's awesome.
The Paranormal Road Trippers. 2 words.
Very cool.
Jakey?
Oh yeah, I forgot because I'm on this show regularly. Think about me as being a guest, right? You can go to ghostlyactivities.com. Just go to contact us. I get the emails. And if you're interested in the ghost hunting stuff, I've got 3 books, but the 2 of them that are the hardcore ghost hunting books, there's Ghostly Activities, a guide to ghosts and hauntings, which will tell you about all the different spirits, types of hauntings, the gotchas with them as well. Like if you're on a boat to a bridge to whatever, got that covered. But the more technical how to ghost hunt is the Ghost Hunting and Protection is the book. And it's got debunking, different roles in your ghost hunting team, how to do evidence analysis, and all that fun stuff.
I was trying to show your Ghost Stories book off, but it just won't work.
Oh, Ghost Stories. Yeah, Ghost Stories is, well, there's like 20 some tales, and it's like, I like to say, like 19 are true, 3 or 4, there might be a little something here and there. And one of them's completely batshit crazy fake, and it should be obvious. And if it's not, I suggest you seek help.
Problems.
I don't know, Jake. That's the problem we have out there. They'll believe anything.
No, because I wrote it. It's in
true.
print.
I believe everything you say, Jake.
Oh, thank you so much. I've got a bridge. You want to buy it?
I've got a couple dollars. Yay!
Yay!
Oh.
All right, guys. I don't have anything set up for next week, so talk amongst yourselves.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. It just seems like we just set up a Zoom meeting and we're just talking, and then you completely forget that people are like listening to us.
Yes.
I was hoping for some challenges here. You guys let me down.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk.
Let's do the challenges next time.
Maybe we should do a next week show with some challenges.
You like the chili pepper test?
Yeah.
Go, Ross. Go.
Horror movie versus American Haunting.
I don't know about going in, but I know how I don't feel coming out.
I grew some ghost peppers this year.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yum.
You're brave.
Well, I didn't say I ate them. I said I grew them.
You just grew them. See, at least that you can tell people that I grew all these ghost peppers. They're like, wow.
Eat anything.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
I say,
I don't
come
think
on,
I can
Jim,
handle the
just
ghost
a
peppers.
little nibble.
No.
A little nibble.
Doesn't work with me.
Yeah, you can't even make those without heavy duty gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
That woman was on alligator balls. You know it.
It was a fritter. Let's not say alligator balls.
It was
a
alligator balls.
fritter.
That's what it said on the menu. Enjoy these alligator balls.
You ate them
He was like,
too.
"Pop,
You
pop."
ate the alligator
Yeah.
balls too, Ross.
And then he went back
They
and
just
licked the
popped
box.
in her mouth.
Oh, that would be a good thing to end on tonight.
Yeah.
Are we still going?
Yeah, we are.
You're still
This
live.
is the best part of the show.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let me see.
Well, it's recording. It's live on Facebook.
We're still live on the
recording
Facebook.
and live on Facebook. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Sandy. If you're still listening, hi, Sandita. Dushur. That's my
We do
BFF.
miss you all.
We miss you. I guess this means we're gonna wrap up soon, eh?
Oh, that's right. Brenda did eat one of the peppers,
Oh,
but I think it was one of the cooler banana peppers.
maybe we can have her on and do a special like the truth behind peppers, something like
Ghost
that.
pepper's not the
Exposed.
Right?
Yes.
What
Yeah,
is- what
ghost
is the
peppers
hottest?
aren't the hottest. There's
No.
hotter than ghost peppers, I think.
Mhm.
Come on,
I've
Jake.
never-
I
You
don't
know
think
this.
there is anything.
What?
ghost
What?
What's
I
the
don't
hottest
like.
pepper?
What's the hot? This is why we like use a search engine, dude.
This is what Jake works on.
This is what I work on. I don't actually.
Have you seen that
Hottest
show
pepper
on?
in the world?
Have you seen that show on YouTube where they have chicken wings and it's an interview and each
Oh,
wing
yeah.
gets hotter, hotter, and hotter?
Oh.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Here we go. I have found the information, and the
Okay.
answer is
Yes.
in a featured snippet on a large search engine that I do not work on,
Okay.
but is a large search engine.
Okay.
The hottest pepper in the world is the Carolina Reaper.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's called Reaper.
Reaper.
Great. How many,
It looks like
people it's
it
killed?
looks like a warty red pepper, to be honest.
Wow.
Ew.
No, thank you.
Mm. We can
I
put that
just
on
can't get past
Italian beef.
jalapenos.
Let's put that on Italian beef. Mm.
I love hot food. I love spicy food, but I don't understand why people will. Hey, I'm gonna bite a Carolina Reaper today. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm gonna put
like-
that on my wings. Why?
You can't
Right,
taste
exactly,
the food.
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's just like all you're doing is your
I mean,
mouth is on
We're not-
fire.
Yeah.
Eat
Yeah,
it. We're
don't
gonna
you
rub it
rear
in your
end.
eye.
I could see,
Come on.
yeah, I could see it if the food is like moldy and stuff, and we need something to kill the like
Yeah.
bacteria and fungus. Okay,
Because that's gonna come out.
Natural.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
that's gonna
oh
come
my gosh.
out. So you're gonna like need to like wash it down with a whole pint of like Ben and Jerry's just to
No.
make
At
sure it's
least.
kind of soothing,
Ooh.
soothing with that hellfire and
I
brimstone.
think I have some Ben and Jerry's, some brownie dough. Oh, okay. Sorry.
You know,
That's okay.
I enjoy a little bit of spice.
If
but
the
when
nemesis
it
hasn't
hurts,
eaten it yet.
I'm not enjoying it. I'm sorry.
Say what? Huh?
I said I enjoy a little bit of spice too, but when it starts to hurt, I'm not
Flavor,
going to
yeah.
enjoy it.
You're
you
you're
know?
fi- you're
I
kind of
love
hot as
flavor.
like fire sauce from Taco Bell. Give me something that's gonna rip my guts apart.
Yeah.
You know, I can do the super hot from Taco Bell. That doesn't bother me one bit.
Oh yay!
That doesn't bother me.
That's so cute. That's cute.
It's so cute. I'm like dying from a jalapeno pepper.
You know what? Okay, Chicago. You know, I spent a lot of time in Chicago. I love the spicy hot jardinera stuff you can get if you've been to Chicago. I'm just like,
Oh my
oh,
god.
that's an app. Yum.
There's a Mexican restaurant here. Oh, I forget what it's called now, but they have a smorgasbord of hot sauces,
Ooh.
Oh, do they?
and there's probably like 20 different ones.
Wow.
And it's
Mhm, mhm,
fantastic.
So you're gonna smuggle us over the border
Yes.
Yes.
In our alpaca suits.
in our alpaca suits.
That are haunted alpaca suits.
Oh,
Yeah.
haunted alpaca
That's
suits.
haunted.
Can I
Yes.
just borrow one of Sonia's horses and
Yeah.
you know, ride across the border? I'll pretend to be the ghost of a Mountie, a Canadian
Yes.
Mountie. How's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just put on the
You know,
coyote.
you can actually just gut one and
furry
throw you
outfit.
inside the belly, you know.
It'll be warm.
Oh man.
No,
Little
I
Star
couldn't do
Wars.
that.
I'll just
Yeah,
dress up
no.
as a Squatch because it's BC and it's Washington. No one will think anything of it.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
swatch
Walk
over. I'll
across.
just
There you
swatch over
go.
the border.
There you go.
What's that? Oh, it's a Bigfoot. We got lots of them.
Just let it go.
And
Oh,
there's
he's
a
going
video-
into the pot patch. Oh,
and there's a
perfect. He
video of
belongs.
Jake
He's a
walking
native.
across the screen, you know?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but everyone would be like, "That's a tiny Bigfoot. Is he diminutive? Does he have a thyroid problem?"
There are juvenile Bigfoots now.
I am quite juvenile, by the way.
Baby Bigfoot. Yeah.
So
Get a
good.
ghillie suit. I'll be going.
Baby feet. Yeah.
Yes.
Baby feet. Need some clown shoes.
Small squatch.
The small squatch.
That's how you catch them. Yeah.
I'm short squatch. Hi.
Oh God.
Smurf squatch.
Smurf squatch. Bring blue.
Yeah, spray paint it blue. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh God.
On that note, everybody, I hope everyone has a great, safe weekend. Next week, we may be back.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
And
If not, we could just do
hopefully
it again,
we're not overrun by, cannibal, zombie, Al-Qaeda.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Y'all Qaeda. Yeah.
Al-Qaeda.
Y'all Qaeda.
Y'all.
All righty, kids. I'm going to take us out alive and
Bye,
recording,
guys.
and
Bye, everyone.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.